yesterday, my husband was doing some cleanup, trying to shred a bunch of papers.
Okay.
His shredder went out.
Oh no.
And it's like the second or third one he's been through. And so he was like, oh, I have to get a new shredder. And I said, well, I think the county has one coming up, or West Bloomfield. Someone has one. Like, you can go to these
Yes.
shredding events. And then I pull up the West Bloomfield Township website, and what is listed but the on-site shredding?
How about that?
Look at that. See? Serving the community. With us now, let's bring in Steve Kaplan, the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. Thanks for being with us.
Hello, Ronnie. How are you?
We're good. So, hey, the shredding.
And Tyler, too.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, with the shredding, is that open to just West Bloomfield residents?
No, we've expanded it to incorporate or encompass Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake.
That's great. My husband will be there. I'm going to tell him to get there early.
Right. So the shredding services are open between 9 and 1, and residents, or also Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake, can bring up to 50 pounds of materials. We prefer that they be contained in white bags. Just makes it easier for the staff. And the good news, Tyler, is the shredding takes place on the premises as opposed to later, if at all.
It's so important right now because we know cases of identity theft are on the rise throughout the pandemic. So this is a good way to get rid of all that old mail and all your old papers and stay safe as well.
Not only that, but sometimes people take advantage of materials and they place them on social media, and it could be some personal information beyond fraud, identity fraud.
So with that, Steve, what else is going on over there in the township? It's been a little bit since we've talked to you here on the show.
I miss you and Tyler. No, we're doing very well. In terms of COVID, 14 of our 91 employees at Town Hall have been afflicted by the coronavirus, but none of them became seriously ill. Ironically, and I won't mention the staff member's name, probably the individual here outside of the fire chief with the most information on avoiding being afflicted, he contracted the coronavirus, but fortunately he was not very ill.
Well, that's the good thing, good news. But you know what's so hard is, so many people, even when you're taking the most precautions and barely leaving your house, you just never know where you get it, and if you get it from someone else or you pick it up at a store or something of that nature. So we're happy to hear, though, that nobody got seriously sick.
Ronnie, if I may mention, and I want to commend particularly our fire chief, Greg Flynn, and you and Tyler already know this, but we've been offering vaccine services at Fire Station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road. But we do not provide the vaccines. We do not do the scheduling. That's all through Oakland County or Oakland County Health Department. But it has been helpful to residents who have been able to make an appointment where they don't have to travel long distances to receive their inoculations.
And Steve, with that, what's been the feedback from some of the citizens here having that? Because what I like about that one is you don't even have to get out of your car.
Right. No, they're pleased, but there are residents who are disappointed, and maybe they blame Township in part for not being able to provide vaccinations. But as both of you know, through the federal government to the state to the county, that's the sequence. And could we, if we were provided with vaccines, could we adopt such a program, implement a good program? We could, but the county is wonderful, and more people are being vaccinated.
Steve Kaplan with us here on the MegaCast. He's the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. Springtime, right around the corner. We were a little excited with the weather recently until the snowflakes started flying this morning. But we do know springtime usually means cleanup time in the community.
Yes, and we have our Household Hazardous Waste Day. We're holding 2 this year, May 1 and then at the end of September. But the good news is we'll have 3 shredding events. We already discussed that, but the shredding events only involve shredding. So the lines will not be as long here at Town Hall for people wanting to engage in disposing of household hazardous waste materials or gaining shredding services. But our HHW events, our household hazardous waste events, are very popular, and they also include Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard.
That's good. I will say I remember times going over to the library and it was Hazardous Waste Day and the line was pretty long. What types of materials can people bring or should they bring?
Nearly anything you could imagine: paints, chemicals, oils, batteries, electronics, and other propane tanks, tires. So this is the one opportunity where people have an opportunity to dispose of materials that would not be picked up otherwise during the regular GFL pickup days.
Oh, so with that, I'm going to try to convince my husband it's time to get rid of some of those old VCRs, or the 8-track tape deck that's still in the basement.
Well, you're dating yourself. For a young lady, you know about tape decks.
Look, he has something of everything. He's a collector, Steve, and we have like the very first iPods. Remember how big they were?
Oh, yes.
8-track decks, the side-by-side cassette deck that was really popular to make your mixtapes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and you probably remember cell phones from the late 1980s. They were large, gargantuan device.
So that's good to know electronics is included in that. I'm fingers crossed I can convince him that it's time to get rid of it. No reason to hold on.
Oh, also, if I may, for those people who, because of disabilities, are homebound, for our two household hazardous waste days, May 1 and at the end of September, if they would call Town Hall, we can make arrangements for a limited number where we'll pick up the household hazardous waste materials from those residents.
Oh, that's great. That's a great service.
So yeah, we're excited about our shredding day on Saturday.
So we were just talking with the Oakland County Farmers Market. They're doing an event, even though it's scaled down this year, with some of the food trucks coming up this spring and summer. What about food trucks here in West Bloomfield?
Thanks for asking. Chris Darcy, Executive Assistant in the Supervisor's Office, spearheads our Food Truck Tuesday events. They're usually held the fourth Tuesday of each month, and our next one, or our first one for the year, is May 25th. So that's held between 11:30 until 1:30, Tuesday, May 25th. And the specialty food we're offering, it's called Simply Spanish. So that's self-explanatory, but I think our residents enjoy visiting here at Town Hall and having an opportunity to engage in the Tuesday food truck festivities. And also it helps with the camaraderie here at Town Hall, or I should say our complex, because of course the library and the Parks Commission and the police department are here. And Civic Center TV isn't very far.
So where exactly will the truck be parked then?
The truck will be parked near the Parks Commission, near the smart buses, but we'll be moving the smart buses for the day.
Mark that date, Tyler, lunch.
We hope to see you there.
Food trucks are so popular right now.
They are, and Chris Darcy has scheduled I don't remember all the different trucks or types of cuisines. That's the word I was looking for. But some are interesting, and the price is right. You can purchase a meal for $10 or less.
Yeah, and with that too, we know a lot of people are still more comfortable, stopping by a food truck because it's out in the open and out, in the air, rather than going to a restaurant.
Sure, you're right. It's safe. It's outside.
So with that, Steve, what are your thoughts in the recent cases and the surge that we're seeing here in the state of Michigan? How does that impact your job and the job of the others over there at the Township Hall?
Well, it's disappointing that the surge has occurred. It has an effect in several ways. One, you might have residents who do need to conduct work, or they might have to conduct business here at Town Hall, who are reluctant to visit any municipality or municipal building. So that's unfortunate. Secondly, especially the 18 to 49 year range, people are sick and many are being hospitalized. So there was great confidence in the area, anywhere in the state, that we were conquering the coronavirus, and now it's reappeared and with variations, but we still are very hopeful. It's only a matter of time, Tyler and Ronnie. This will all be a bad memory.
Fingers crossed, we're ready for this to be just that, a bad memory, because it does kind of feel like it's never ending. And of course, Beaumont coming out with the news today that the Beaumont hospitals are at a critical level.
Right, you people who have scheduled elective surgery might have those procedures canceled or postponed. And imagine that you set aside the time and you're eager to be better, to have your shoulder repaired or hip replacement, and now it might be postponed, and that's very sad for those folks.
So with that, Steve, too, one thing that I think is one of the positives that's kind of come out of the pandemic, some of these meetings have gone virtual. So it does make it a little bit easier for some people that are at home to be able to attend or kind of dip in and listen as, they're maybe cooking dinner or helping their kids with their homework. Once we get through this crisis, do you think that's going to stick around or some type of hybrid situation?
Well, sure. Under state law through December 31, 2021, communities can continue to feature the virtual meetings, the online meetings, but that will come to an end unless the pandemic hasn't been surmounted by the end of the year. I think people do like the virtual meetings. It's easier. You can be at home, you can be relaxed, and we have found the attendance is not as great though, but because we're losing out on some people who'd rather be in person, but because of Civic Center TV, those meetings are available both live or later. And that's a great benefit to our community. So you're providing a wonderful service for anyone interested in watching any of the meetings, including Parks Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals and Environmental Commission and Planning Commission.
So are you guys, as far as the township officials, you guys are still virtual as well, or are you actually back in the building?
No, we're virtual and will continue to be probably through the end of the year unless the numbers recede. My prediction is by October, we'll be hosting live meetings.
So we're talking with Steve Kaplan. He's the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. You guys have really have been doing a good job over there trying to manage throughout the pandemic. Anything, Steve, that maybe we didn't touch on that you want to share with us?
Oh, thank you. So as you know, when you drive around Tyler and Ronnie, you see garbage on the street, mainly in the ditches and the ravines, the side of the road, and it looks horrible, especially in a wonderful community like West Bloomfield. So what are we doing about it? We don't have any staff members who are assigned to pick up garbage. But what we have spearheaded, and this is May 8th from 9 until noon, we have invited residents to meet at Town Hall right before 9 o'clock, and we'll be going out in groups to pick up garbage from the side of the roads. Pop cans and paper bags and beer bottles, and it just detracts from the beauty of West Bloomfield, Kegel Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake. So we're happy that our residents care. We receive many calls here, I would say 3 per week, residents wanting to know, when are you cleaning up the roads? Well, we don't own the roads. The roads are owned by the Road Commission. But beyond that, it just looks terrible. It's unsightly. And so we're doing what we can. And if anybody would like to join us on May 8th, just call the supervisor's office.
That is great to know, because we do know over the winter months that people who put out the trash early and it's a windy day, it blows throughout the neighborhoods and then it snows on top. So when the snow melts, there's so much trash and debris left. So get a group of people, get a group of friends, have some fun. And Steve, I'm going to put out a recommendation to everyone. Wear long pants and long sleeves, because we were cleaning up the West Bloomfield Trail behind our neighborhood and went in deep to try to get some of the trash. And there are all the, sticker bushes and everything else, and not so fun.
No. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. We appreciate Civic Center TV and the two of you.